Welcome back to the Green Yard. It is a beautiful beginning of September morning here in Phoenix, Arizona. All of our trees are really starting to put out that new growth, starting to kind of get into this growth season. For those of you that haven't joined us before, this is the Green Yard. We have kind of three areas in the Green Yard, three main areas where we've planted our fruiting and flowering, both tropical and stone fruit trees and plants. We have our food forest, which is on the other side of the house, which has a large variety of trees and plants, as well as a koi fish pond. We have our stone fruit orchard, an area by our pool, which is all in full sun, and our sun-loving tropicals and stone fruit trees are over there. And then we have this side yard here, which is kind of our more standard side yard. It's about 6 feet wide, and luckily this is on the east side of our house, so it gets a little bit of afternoon shade starting around 2:30, 2 to 3 o'clock, depending on the time of year. And this is where some of our kind of like moderate tropicals are. So we have our black sapote tree, some mangoes, and a couple other sapotes, which we'll show you here in a second. But the reason we're here today is that it is the beginning of September, and from the end of August through the end of September is this mango season here in the Phoenix Valley. And we once again have another harvesting video. We just did a harvest video about 3 weeks ago on our fruit punch mango, which was absolutely delicious. Fruit punch mango only produced one mango this year. And then we also, over in this side part of the Green Yard, have our Spirit of 76 mango. Both the fruit punch and the Spirit of 76, this is the first time that they've held on to a mango all the way through to maturity. So I'm really excited to try from our Spirit of 76. And this tree as well has multiple mangoes on here, including some very large ones. This one just happened to be picked about a couple days ago, and I've let it kind of ripen on the counter, and we're going to go ahead and try it for the first time. So let's talk more about our Spirit of 76 mango, and then of course try this mango on camera. Here we go. So this side yard, once again, only about 6 feet wide. Gonna see how these mangoes and all these other trees end up doing in this space. One of the nice things here in Phoenix is that you really want to keep those mango trees trimmed. Most of our grafted varieties end up being more of a dwarf size anyways, where they top out around 10-15 feet tall. So not too big of a concern with it kind of messing up this brick wall or taking over the space too much. This is our fruit punch mango, doing really well, actually branching out a whole bunch up here, starting to put on some new growth too. Really excited about this tree, and I love the shape. Did a great job pruning this tree as well, and we're going to actually talk about pruning with our Spirit of 76 here in a second. Got this papaya tree. This papaya tree did really well last fall. Actually produced some very large papayas. It was our first papaya harvest that we ever had, was from this papaya tree here. Got hit really hard in the cold and unfortunately kind of died back to nothing, which is where we're at now. Which is why it's just now starting to put out kind of these growths on the top. You can see it's really starting to branch out here, has 3 to 4 branches on there. This is one of our sapodillas. This is our Chico sapote, or our sapodilla tree. Really beautiful tree, starting to put out a lot of new growth now that we've kind of cooled down a little bit at night. We're in the mid to high 80s at night instead of in the 90s, and it's really loving that cooler temperature at night. Dragon fruit, I know our last harvest video a couple weeks ago, I still have yet to pick up the dragon fruit. It fell down in one of our monsoon storms, and hopefully here shortly. There's actually two varieties, a yellow dragon fruit as well as a red dragon fruit in there. And then we do have our black sapote as well, which is this tree over in the corner. Absolutely beautiful tree, put on about 3 feet of growth this year, doing really, really well. And it is loving our cooler nights too. You can see it's actually starting to put out a whole bunch of new growth right here on some of these lower branches. And hopefully it just kind of continues to thrive and survive, and maybe we'll get some fruit next year. It did flower again this year, so there's always that possibility. And then just below that black sapote, we have the tree of the hour, right? This Spirit of 76 mango. A little bit on the smaller side. Part of the reason why is because I did let it fruit this year. Obviously, that's why we're here, is for our different mangoes and to talk about it and pick and harvest and try that Spirit of 76 mango. One of the issues with letting it fruit when it's still this size is that the branches do get pulled down exponentially by these big mangoes. I know it's not that big, but it is big considering the size of the tree. So we're actually gonna take these mangoes off right now as well and just kind of do a full harvest. So this is kind of what these mangoes look like when they are first picked. And we're just gonna set them to the side here for a minute. And then we're also gonna grab this big one here at the bottom. This is our biggest mango that we have this year, bigger than my hand. We're gonna pick this guy too, let it ripen on the counter. This one I'm excited for. It's a big mango. And then if I remember correctly, there is one as well somewhere else, or maybe not. Maybe that was it. Maybe there's only 3 this year. So we went ahead and we picked those mangoes. That's gonna help a little bit with kind of the shape of the tree. I am gonna prune this back significantly too, just because I do want it to hopefully get a little bit better structure and recover better after holding on to those big mangoes. So that's one of the bad parts about letting our younger trees hold fruit. The other one that people say is that the trees don't recover as well in the spring, or in the spring after the winter if you let it fruit. I haven't really noticed that yet. From my experience, if the tree is ready to fruit, it will hold on to the fruit. If it's not, it will not hold on to any fruit. So these trees, they have been in the ground since 2021. This is their first year holding on fruit, but they have flowered every year since 2021. So this year they're finally prepared to actually hold on to that fruit, carry that fruit, and obviously we have this beautiful harvest here as well. All right, so it's kind of that moment of truth here. We have our ripe Spirit of 76 mango. I got my knife here as well. I know we picked those 2. I actually did find the other mango. I knew there were 4 on this tree, which is actually one of our bigger harvests that we've had so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this one too. See, here's the other mango. We'll go ahead and just kind of toss it over there on the hill. Well, it's gonna roll down. We'll leave it there then. So I know with our other homegrown mangoes, our Kerry mango, which we've harvested before, definitely check out that video. Very nectary, like it tastes kind of like mango nectar. If you ever bought mango nectar from the store, that's what it tastes like. Our fruit punch mango had that similar taste, but it was fruitier, which was kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and let's try out this Spirit of 76 mango here, and let's see how it tastes. Mangoes are always, all of our homegrown mangoes are very, very soft, very little to no fiber going in. Super juicy mango. You'll notice it just kind of comes right out, this little slice that I did here. Very, very delicious. Very little fiber. I think that's the craziest part about most of our homegrown mangoes and these different varieties. You know, buy them from the store and there's all that stringiness in there. This is not at all. In fact, I would say you could probably cut this open, like cut a half and scoop it out with a spoon, and it'll almost be like mango ice cream, right? Just come out with that kind of consistency. So let's go ahead and try this guy. Interesting. It's very different. Still has a little bit of that nectary taste in there, but it tastes a little bit more like a store-bought mango. Doesn't have as much of that nectar taste to it, and more on the mango side than the nectar side. Interesting. I was not expecting that, actually. Very, very good variety. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this tree and do a little prune on it as well as we finish up this tasting video and I enjoy more of this mango. Here we go. All right, so I went ahead and did that bigger prune on here. I'm hoping it works out for me in the long run. I know that next year I might not get as many mangoes as this year. You know, we harvested 4, which is actually the most that I've harvested. Off of Kerry Mango, I got 4 as well. So on some of our younger trees, 4 is pretty good, a pretty good harvest. Since I pruned this guy back so significantly, probably sacrificing next year's mango harvest off of our Spirit of 76, but it's ultimately worth it because in the future, thinking long term, right, this tree will end up having a better structure and ultimately being able to produce and hold on to more mangoes in the future. With our Spirit of 76, just like our fruit punch, our falong, any of our other mangoes, I go through pretty much the same routine with it. It gets our flood irrigation, and this summer actually I ended up watering every week, which I believe is part of the reason that it actually is holding on to mangoes this year. Last year I did it once every 2 weeks. We had our pretty hot record-breaking summer just like this year, and it did not hold on to those mangoes in that late spring, early summer, right around May. This year it did, and I think part of it might be watering once a week. So something to keep in mind, if you have a tree that has fruit on it, you might want to give it a little bit of extra water just to help it through. I do fish emulsion once a month as well, so every month I will give it some fish emulsion. I think that does help to contribute to the harvest as well as to this delicious fruit. Feeding those fruit trees really does help with that. And then like you saw, I have pruned this guy a couple times this year. Obviously, once it holds fruit, I can't prune the branches that have the fruit on it, but I do prune around it and get some additional flushes. Our mango trees are really great starter tropical trees here in the Phoenix area. They can take and actually seem to want some additional sun, especially after their first to second year in ground. They seem to want a little bit of that afternoon sun until, like, you know, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They seem to enjoy it and actually thrive with a little bit more sun and get a better shape to them. So I personally think that they are one of our easier tropical trees to grow. As you can see, they do produce fruit, which is amazing to see here in Phoenix, that we're getting to harvest these mangoes, having this mango season. If you guys have any questions about any of our other fruiting or flowering tropical or stone fruit trees, please feel free to comment below. I love making videos about and in answer to anyone's questions in the comments. That's one of my favorite things to do. Have done it before, especially with some of our bananas, things like that. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Make sure to follow us on social media, like and subscribe. And as always, live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of the Spirit of 76 mango. Have a great day.